Now we will go for a very different lens and Dr. Pratima, thank you so much for joining us here. We would like to learn from you, from your lens. What are the ways corporate should adopt for employer branding and what role technology will play here? We would like to hear from you, Dr. Pratima, please. Over to you.
So first and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm thankful to the InnoServe group, and of course, wonderful to see you here, Dhananjay, a familiar face in this world of virtual meetings. It's nice to see a familiar face, and I remember, the last time we met was at an NHRD session, on a
Correct.
similar
Bombay.
type of. Yes, in Mumbai. Yeah. So, wonderful to be here. And I think the onus of speaking after so many prolific and experienced people makes my task easier. So I can choose to digitally copy paste or, just pick pieces from there and make my own new dish or khichdi, as you may choose to call it. But let me just sort of give it a slightly different spin. And I'm going to speak basis my experience at Symbiosis and also now at SMHRD and interacting with a whole bunch of alumni and a lot of our students that are passing out, have passed out, are in the midst of various stages of doing their summer internship. And I've seen a couple of themes emerging. And I think nobody can predict what's going to happen. Are we going to stay like this and like GR? Just mentioned that, people are going to get stuck to the chair and, are mentally, physically going to be in a state of shock, because we're really not. We're a very, our touch sense or our skin is the largest organ of the body. We can't live away from that. So we are social animals, and it's difficult for us to be anything different than that. However, I would want, since I interact with students, since I interact with these 23, 24, 25, 26, nowadays 28, 29-year-olds as well, a couple of things that I have seen, and we are in constant touch with all our students and all our batches, is that these kids no, I can't call them kids, can I now? But these students or these people, and which forms a majority of the group that all of us are employing to a large extent, like independence, take to the virtual mode of communication very quickly, are intensely comfortable in dealing with things like this, believe that they need their independence. I remember what, a couple of speakers before me have spoken, Poonam has spoken, and Mr. Das has spoken, that these are people who are, who like independence, who really don't give too much importance to loyalty and want instant gratification. I would agree with you on all of those and more. However, it's also a very resilient group of people. They were born and they landed, in 7-8 years of their life, they landed into the SARS and the, bombing of the Twin Towers and all of that. And then 2008-9, by the time they could understand a little bit more, and now this. All right. So they've seen 3 different cycles of a lot of disruption, and they're on the edge of disruption. They adjust pretty quickly. What should organizations do, therefore, to take care of them? I would feel collaboration is the key here. There are times when I have done sessions with our students, with our alumni, because we are constantly connected with them, trying to understand what changes, what should we do to make the whole thing better. And collaboration is the key. They believe everybody can add some value, and no one person is great at everything. Everybody is good at something, so we need to pool those resources. Can we do something like that? Can we be compassionate? I think a lot of organizations are also laying off people. But there is going to be a group that is also going to stay. So while it is important to handle the people that we are going to lay off sensitively, it's also important to understand what is going to be the psyche of the person who is staying back, who's staying with the organization. So it's very, very crucial to know how they are going to react. And are we looking after them in our own wisdom, in our own way? So collaboration followed by compassion. And comfort with technology. Do all the people around have a comfort with technology? Do all the people that, Dr. Deshpande spoke about, within 2 days, we were able to get people to work from home. But there was even in our case, we got all our faculty, non-teaching staff, everybody to start working from home. But there has been a fair amount of training that we've had to do. And just a one-time training has not been enough. So there are some glitches that they encounter. The first time they use it, they manage somehow. But if you want that experience to be seamless, then they need to be continually trained in using these different types of technologies, because they're naturally not used to it. And I'm not talking about students, I'm talking about our staff or our employees. They have a problem with respect to sometimes adapting to newer technology. They may or may not be very tech friendly. So yes, comfort with tech has to be looked at in terms of managing. Today, there's enough and more technological resources, various software, lots of almost all our processes can be online and can be conducted even though you're not physically meeting each other. So is that there? And somewhere there is also there has to be a drill down of a sense that you are important in spite of the screen that we are sharing. Okay, and the person behind the screen is more important than the screen. So you can't, while there has to be comfort with technology, but technology cannot replace the person. And I think that needs to be built as a sense. There is also a strong need to instill a sense of credibility in the work, in the sense that just because I'm working from home does not mean that I'm there halfway only, or I'm not delivering to my complete capacity, or that it's play acting. It's not play acting. Okay, it's a whole lot of work. Coming from a lady, let me tell you, work from home and work at home, do all the work at home and also work from home are things that while people staying at home may mean good work-life balance, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. If you're sweeping, swabbing, cleaning, cooking, and perennially doing it all the time, and wanting to be able to perform to the best, which is, I think is a disease some of us have, which can put a lot of stress and strain. And I buy GR's point there that psychological and mental well-being is important. So, we've actually deployed counselors to speak with our staff as well as our students, because a lot of them are stuck in places away from family. So how are you going to take care of them? And whatever work they do from wherever, so what if I'm at home? My work, whatever I deliver, is important. So that credibility needs to be built in. And last but not the least, transparency in communication. As HR leaders, or as leaders of organizations, the reality is in front of everybody. Everybody knows that these are uncertain times. We can't give a date. We can't put an end by date for anything. Or we can't say, things will become normal by so and so time. So if you look at the previous two instances of depressions or recessions, the time that it took, so from the 2002 crisis, it took maybe a year for the world to come out of it. The 2008 crisis, it took longer because it was a deeper financial recession. Okay. I presume we were already in a recession of sorts, and then COVID hit us. And then there is lockdown. Lockdown is necessary. I agree with that completely. However, the kind of financial impact that this is going to have is going to be long term. And therefore, I want to go back to a couple of points. This is my copy paste moment. Go back to a couple of points that Amit made, that Poonam made, that Dr. Deshpande made, that, you need to be able to sort of pull all the value from there and ensure that your employer brand is intact. Because what you do today, the actions you take today are going to determine how you're going to be viewed tomorrow. And I think that is of critical and utmost importance. You can't say I'm an innovation-driven, employee-centric organization and then be extremely insensitive about the way you're letting people go, which is going to be a reality. And people will remember that forever. So, you may think you're doing a lot of things, and people are working on the go, taking decisions on the go. And it is very crucial and very important to know that simply taking decisions on the go, you can't, as people in the people business, you need to know that there are different perspectives that people are going to remember. And bad news has a tendency to be remembered for longer than the good news. So I think in this COVID bad news, the fact that we are socially responsible organizations, that we care for the other people around us, that we are concerned about the environment, that we are concerned about the people around us, that we care very much what happens to our organization, that we are strongly professional. I think these would be some of the key things that we need to remember. So collaboration, compassion, comfort with technology, care and concern, transparency, and sticking with your values, not letting them go in these difficult times. And the ones that manage to stick to what they believe in are going to shine brighter once this entire thing is over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I always look up to your thought process, because I know that something very candid and unique will come. Now, Doctor, I would like to hear from you. One of the top thoughts which comes to your mind, you are at the core of learning and development, Dr. Pratima. How do you see the role of technology and digitization in learning and development, and which is the first thought which comes to your mind when we talk about this subject, please? Over, Dr. Pratima.
Yes. The first thought is eminently possible. Okay. Yes, I would agree with Poonam. CXO level hiring, senior level hiring. Will we ever go there? I don't think so. At least not for now. We really don't know how the situation pans out. Is L&D possible? Very much possible. We have done sessions online with a big batch of 300 plus students. We've done their exams, in a proctored mode online. I have even done their commencement, which is, we call it commencement, but it is like they're stepping out. Okay, we did that online on Google Meet. Okay, where the attendance was very good. I mean, it has never happened before. So but we can track attendance. We can tell who came in from what time to what time. Because I can see a couple of questions here that Ritesh has posted. How do you keep a record? Well, you give them a task and you ask them to complete it, and usually people do it. I think now the also the tendency of wanting to be in a job is very high. So I think currently in the next 3 months, when there are so many question marks and a big number was quoted by both Amit and Poonam in terms of, jobs in danger, I would feel that these are times when people want to hold on to their jobs. And if they want to hold on to their jobs, they're not going to look at what is the pay package. They just want some money to come in, and they want, their monthly payments or loans or whatever else to go out on time. And I would find the accountability has actually improved in the last month and a half, because Maharashtra went into lockdown when about 15th March or so. Educational institutions were the first to be shut. And, we've been working like this since 15th March. So month and a half, and I think we've become pros at it. Is learning and development possible? Yes, where there is a will, there is a way. Is it as good as in person? Maybe yes and maybe no. There are pros and cons to everything. Okay, because if somebody just mutes themselves or visually gets out, so I wouldn't know if they are sleeping or they're there or they're not there. Those are some problems that do exist, but especially with the working professionals, we've seen great traction. Okay, they feel that it has cut the travel time, it has cut the clutter, and they are only concentrating on being able to get the learning that they require and deliver the learning in that manner. So I think it has actually made life a lot more simpler, and we're not battling traffic. Of course, there is no traffic on the roads right now, but those of you who've ever been to Pune would know it is super tough to get into Hinjewadi and out of Hinjewadi, and so that's where we are based, and all that traffic and travel time is gone. So I think it has helped us. But I think some students are asking about what do you do about summer internships, etc. So while Ritesh pulls it up, I think I can answer this for the students that are here. There is about 12 to 15 of our students that, where the summer internships have been cancelled. And in fact, what they've done is in their local community, they have gone and sought summer internships with small SMEs. Okay, MSMEs, and they are doing virtual projects with them. So I think it's a way to give back. It's not a paid internship, but I think that kind of talent will never be available to those SMEs. They're also going through really difficult times, and if you can help them, and probably you will be able to do a good job in terms of the kind of inputs that you can provide to these people. So I think that's an answer for summer internship placement, which is what we have done. It's worked really well for us. I will need to sign out. I hope to hear back from all of you. Thank you very much. I need to get on another call.
Thank you, Dr. Pratima, for being with us.
Thanks, Poonam, Dr. Deshpande, Dhananjay, Swapnil, GR. Pleasure hearing all of you. Thank you so much.
Same here, Simon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. So I appreciate everyone's time, both sides. My panelists, you have given enough food for thought to all the members here. Thank you so much for your time and the insights being expressed. Let me thank all the audience for taking out the time and attending the session in big numbers. We will try to have the narrative of the session being shared with you all, so that you can actually take the summary out from it. Thank you so much once again, and we hope to see you all connected with the digital HR platform. We look forward to have similar sessions in near future too. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Poonam. Thank you.